Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast. Hey, Kate.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Okay, guys. Today, we are going to bust a very pervasive myth. This is going to blow people's minds. Maybe not blow people's minds, but I think it's going to clear some things up for you. I'm going to skip right to the chase. Here's the thing. The truth is, boom, boom, boom. We need some
Dramatic music.
exactly. So sound effects. The truth is that there's no such thing as SEO copywriting. What?
You're wrong, Nicki. Like, it can be true. There's so many articles. There's so much on Google.
So much misinformation. So, first of all, let's start out. What is SEO? SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, which means making changes to a website to hopefully increase the chances that it is higher up or an earlier page of a search engine result. Obviously, the master goal is to get it within the first 10 listings. So if you search for something, or if when your target audience searches for something, your website shows up on that first page. I mean, top goal is number one, but good luck if you're not Amazon. But there are all kinds of things you can do across a website to increase the likelihood of your website showing up higher in those search engine results for important terms that are both important to you and important to your target audience, or to a company and to a company's target audience.
Yeah. And a lot of those things, I know for writers, we think that jamming keywords into places is going to help, and that's what's going to do it. And to some extent, yes, words matter, but there's so much else that goes into SEO that we have, unless we're search engine optimizers, that's not the word, but there are people that is a real career. That's not their title. But unless we're managing that in a company, we're not going to have as much of an impact as we really can in terms of the tech side of things. You know, there's things like site speed really matters for search engines, how fast images load, how just on the back end, so how things are coded. There's so much that goes into it that is not related to what we do, the words on the page.
Exactly. Now, certainly, as Kate was saying, the words on the page do matter. So let's talk
Yeah.
about that. You might be going,
Yeah.
well, if the words matter, then SEO copywriting is a thing. Ha! Oh, my friend. No. So here's the thing. It used to be, as Kate was saying, it used to be at kind of the beginning of the internet, the beginning of search engines, that if you wanted to rank higher, you would just pack a page full of those words. So, for example, I think the example I use in the course is something about glow in the dark kitten clothing. You know, clothing for your kitten that would glow in the dark. And so, if you really wanted your page to rank highly when people search for glow in the dark kitten clothing, you would have content on your page that would say, "We're so glad you're interested in glow-in-the-dark kitten clothing. Glow-in-the-dark clothing can be the very best for kittens. Kittens look great in glow-in-the-dark clothing. Clothing that glows in the dark is great for kittens. And here's why. Kittens that have glow-in-the-dark clothing," and so on and so on and so on. If you can believe it, that is actually a technique that people used to use to try to quote unquote trick the search engines and get them to rank a page higher. No.
Yeah. And you might still see it out in the world so be on the lookout for that sort of keyword packing and know that that's not best practice.
No, in fact, more often than not, search engines are incredibly savvy. Nobody even knows. I mean, unless you're inside Google or Bing or whatever, nobody even knows what their algorithms actually do. But search engines will what's the word I'm looking for? Decrease the ranking, penalize. That's the word. Penalize you if you do keyword packing. So it not only is it not a tactic that people do, it's actually a bad idea. But yes, to a certain degree, the search engines will use if someone searches for a term, They're going to be looking on a website, the search engine bots, the crawling, are going to be looking for that term on a website.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. As copywriters, we don't have a lot of space. We don't actually have that much actual copy on websites. The copy we do have is very impactful, but there's not like a ton of it. So if you're looking to get in a ton of keywords, use keywords regularly, get listed for keywords, to Kate's point, maybe the SEO people that you're working with give you a list of keywords to use. That's where content comes in. The content team is going to take those kids and say, okay, we want to see if we can try to rank for this keyword. So let's write a blog post about that keyword and try to use that judiciously, but try to use it and make it high quality content and all that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't have the space to be trying to put in a bunch of different keywords and get ranked for hundreds of different keywords in our, headline, subhead, body copy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what this might look like in practice, you want it to sound natural. And so, to Nikki's point, we don't have a lot of space. So, it's going to sound real unnatural real fast if you try to, the kitten example is a perfect example. But say you're writing for a plumber in Poughkeepsie, right? You might get like best plumber in Poughkeepsie somewhere in a headline or subhead or within your text. But to do it multiple times, say you're writing a homepage for them, it's going to start to sound real fake real fast, and you want to cover other things and you want to make it the page flow. And if you're not talking about, if you're talking about what services they offer, some of these keywords that you might be given by the team, just it would be stuffing. It'd be unintentionally making worse copy, writing worse copy just for the sake of it. And so, yeah, you're naturally, as you're writing copy, you're going to hit on terms. If you're talking about a plumber, yeah, you're going to use the word plumbing or plumber. And if he's in a certain area and that's his radius, you're going to maybe use those terms of the locations that he's around, but you're not going to best plumber in Poughkeepsie every other line. You might write up the content team to that point. Maybe they write a blog post of why this is the best plumber in Poughkeepsie and why you should hire this person. And then there's more space. There's a whole blog post full of words that you can put it in a subhead and put it a couple of times within the content itself and still have it feel natural because there's just more volume, right? The less volume you have, the more unnatural it starts to sound if you try to use it 3, 4, 5 times.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, and Kate kind of snuck this in there, and I'm going to expand on there's no such thing as SEO copywriting. Well, actually, but also technically, all copywriting is SEO copywriting in the sense that when you are a good and trained, skilled copywriter and you are working with your clients and you understand their business and you understand what they're trying to convey, when you're writing, you are naturally going to get some of those most important words
Mm-hmm.
and terms in your headline, in your subhead, in your body copy, just by nature of the project. Unless they're trying to rank for words that have nothing to do with their business, which good luck to them anyway. But as a skilled copywriter, you are going to be naturally using those terms in the work that you do. So, in a way, every copywriter is a quote unquote SEO copywriter in the sense that we're going to use those most important terms and those most important phrases. But you cannot, as a copywriter, you are not going to be able to, in your writing, not content, as a copywriter, you are not going to be able to substantially affect SEO with your work. That's going to go to the search engine optimizers, the people who are in charge of adding meta tags and site speed and all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And the people who are coming up with the list of terms and all that
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing, and the content writers who are doing that work. So your question might be then, but Nicki and Kate, I've seen job listings where people are looking for SEO copywriters. What do you mean it doesn't exist? I've seen the job listings.
People love terms. They know SEO is important. They know they need to do something with it. And so they're probably really don't know what they're looking for,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if we're
Or,
being honest.
yeah, exactly. Or on the other side of that coin, they are looking for a
A
content
content
writer
writer.
and
Yeah.
they don't know the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Or two, they may be, and you will see this sometimes, especially with smaller companies, they're trying to look for a jack of all trades, someone who
Yes.
is a master at search engine optimization, someone who's also a master at copywriting, and someone who's also a master at content writing. And often they want to pay them very little to do those 3 full-time jobs. But as Kate was saying, as we know, copywriting it's a full-time job. It requires, I mean, it can be, you can do it part-time, but it requires the training for a full career. And that's the same thing with
Mm-hmm.
search engine optimization. Sometimes we'll have students say, ooh, I'm kind of interested in, do I want to be additionally offering the service? Do I need to be offering the service? Now, as with anything, you can. You certainly don't need to. And as we were saying, copywriting and SEO don't exactly go together, really. Um, but if you're going to offer SEO as a service, you
You need some
need,
training.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
Like a
need,
lot of training.
you need to know how to do it. And that is, we're not even going to get into that because it's a whole other
Well,
career.
just so people have an idea, though, I mean, I know I mentioned a few things at the beginning, like site speed, how fast images load, which is all tech. There's also backlinks. How many people are linking back to your site and getting those backlinks? And that's a whole big job in and of itself to try to get another reputable site to link back to your content. And again, content, they're linking back to content. There's, if you're linking off to sites that have, you see HTTP and HTTPS, are the sites the same? Do they have that security, the S, the more secure site? Are they mixed? These things that that's nothing to do with copywriting. None of that has anything to do with copywriting. So just to give you an idea of all of these different skills that you have to know that are part of this, that is why SEO is its own career.
Mm-hmm.
Are there resources you can find? Sure, but again, within your content writing, it's one piece of the SEO puzzle. And so to really have an impact, if your client is expecting you to move things, you can only do so much with what you're doing with content.
Exactly. Yeah. SEO is so much more than researching keywords and writing
Mm-hmm.
blog posts for
Well, and
keywords.
that's you're at that point doing the keyword research. That's a whole other piece of it too, to know what other content do they have on their site. Are there pages that are already ranking for a keyword? And then you create something that you also want to rank for that keyword. And then those posts are cannibalizing each other because Google doesn't know which one to serve first. And so then you're actually doing a disservice to the strategy for your client. So there's a lot to unpack. So to Nikki's point, if you're going to mix the two, you really need to, and if for copywriters just starting out, that really doesn't make sense, because then you're splitting your focus and you're gonna, not be a master of any trades, whatever that saying is, master of none,
Mm-hmm.
jack of all trades, master of none. So be careful with when you decide to add this and how important the importance you place on it. I think, but again, because you see SEO copywriter listings, you see job postings for it, you might think, I have to do this. Oh my gosh, like my clients expect this of me, and so I need to offer this for my clients. What you might need to do is actually, sit down with the client, see what they actually need, and then talk them through that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that in a way that doesn't say, hey, you don't actually need this. You can say, oh, okay, I understand what you need, and just know, okay, they don't actually need someone, they want someone to write content, and they want someone to, write content strategically, or even do a mix of content and copywriting. But again, if you're doing it strategically, you have a brief, you know what they need, you're going to be doing these things automatically. If they expect the tech side of things, then that's a different story. And again, they're expecting someone, a unicorn, again, to pay them, to Nikki's point, one salary for 3 jobs, which no one wants to do that.
No. Yeah. If you're seeing job listings for SEO copywriters and you're interested, like, oh, I like that company, I like to work for that company. Okay, great. To Kate's point, just get in touch with them. Find out what the job really is. You might be able to get a sense for it from the listing. It could be that as you're reading it through, like, oh, okay, what they're looking for is a content writer, and okay, whatever. But if you can't really get a sense for it, you might have to talk to them. And they might have just been like, sure. Well, when I worked at a place 10 years ago, we looked for an SEO copywriter. And you can be like, oh, well, things have changed since then. Say it diplomatically and say it nicely, but you may have to educate them a little bit about how, well, actually it's a little bit of a misnomer because I'm going to naturally be using those terms as your copywriter. It's kind of like the term conversion copywriter. Well, I'm a conversion copywriter. Oh, okay. So
You're doing your job.
Yeah, exactly. So the other copywriters are the ones who are focused on not converting. It's all marketing, right? I don't have anything against people saying, well, I'm a conversion copywriter. I'm a results driven copywriter. Like, okay, well, aren't we all?
Thank God.
Yeah, exactly. Like, good for you. But this is one occasion where you might have to add a little bit more clarification and help them understand exactly. You might have to help them understand exactly what they're looking for in this role. They may not even know, or they may just be looking for a copywriter, but the only term they know is SEO copywriter, or they may be looking for a content writer or an SEO strategist. So just as you see SEO copywriter listings, just maybe raise an eyebrow. Be willing to dig in a little bit if it's a company that you're interested in, but it may give you a little indication of what this company actually knows about copywriting and about SEO, or maybe, how do I say this gently, but maybe a little bit more indication about what they don't know about copywriting, about SEO, about all that kind of thing. So just keep that in mind. And then anytime you have the opportunity, just educate people. Let them know that there's no such thing as SEO copywriting. The listing for the job listings for those have decreased significantly. You'll see it come up less and less because people have started to understand that there's a difference between copy and content, and that, as I was saying, simultaneously, there's no such thing as SEO copywriting. And in a way, we're all naturally incorporating those keywords. Okay, so there you have it. Hopefully that helps a little bit on your job search front, or if nothing else, hopefully that makes a few things just a little bit clearer, because that's one of our main goals, really, is to make everything clear and help make life just that much better. And so, of course, with that, then we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye, everybody. Like what you heard? Hit subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you're ready to take the first step toward becoming a copywriter yourself, sign up for a free video training right here.